Speaker, to the Minister of Housing, what is Housing New Zealand doing to identify and address fraudulent behaviour by some tenants?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr Speaker, the overwhelming majority of Housing New Zealand tenants appreciate their homes and abide by the rules. However, there are a small minority who access homes and subsidies that they don't need. Over the past 2.5 years, Housing New Zealand has built a highly effective team of expert investigators. Since July 2010, 241 tenancies have been ended following investigations and 119 tenants successfully prosecuted for fraud. I commend Housing New Zealand for taking action against those people who are locking out families who are genuinely in need of state houses.
Todd McClay.
Supplementary to the Minister. What kind of activities have tenants been undertaking that has led to action being taken against them?
Honourable Phil Heatley.
Well, Mr Speaker, examples include a South Auckland tenant who obtained a state house in '98, was found to not have declared his wife's true income. The tenant also forged and falsified his own employer income statements in order to obtain a lower rent. 21 fraud charges were laid. The tenancy terminated, a debt of $55,000 established, and the tenant sentenced to 5 months home detention. Another tenant had a company under an assumed name, received undeclared income under another name, didn't report it to Housing New Zealand or the Ministry of Social Development, pled guilty to 10 charges of fraud, $91,000 of debt is against them, and they're sentenced to a term of imprisonment. But what's important is that 2 houses in these 2 cases were freed up for those who are genuinely in need.
Supplementary question, Moana Mackey.
Supplementary to the Minister, why does he not hold his own department, Housing New Zealand, to the same level of accountability and compliance with the law as their tenants, given this political letter, drafted 4 national MPs by Housing New Zealand communications staff and intended to, quote, manage public perception of National Party policy in clear breach of the requirement for impartiality under the State Sector Act?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr Speaker, I'd be interested in seeing the letter.
Point of order.
Point of order, Moana Mackey.
I seek leave to table a letter from Housing New Zealand drafted 4 national MPs in an attempt to manage public perception.
Order. The last bit is totally out of order. We've seen enough abuse of standing orders today. The leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Question number 12, the Honourable Shane Jones.
Speaker,